Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful girl named Tam. She was very young when her mother died. But despite her mother's absence, Tam was a very happy girl since her father, who loved her dearly and devoted his days to raising and looking after her. But things changed when Tam's father fell in love with a wicked lady, whom he married and later gave birth to a daughter named Calm. Tam was treated horribly by her stepmother and was forced to cook, scrub the floors, work around the house, and fetch some good old H2O. No matter how hard Tam worked, she remained beautiful, with her hair as gentle as the wind, skin as fair as the clouds, and her voice as sweet as that of a nightingale's.
But Cam's jealousy of Tam grew worse and worse as the days passed.
Attempting to get rid of her, her stepmother started sending her out on dangerous errands for hopes that harm may befall on her.
One day the stepmom sent them on a fishing trip and told them whoever brought back the most fish would win a pretty red silk. Originally, Tam had won the most fish, but Cam was extremely jealous. So Cam snatched the fish from her, leaving Tam heartbroken. Tam broke into tears over this until the goddess of mercy appeared before her. The goddess promised to look after her and told her to look in the basket for a small golden fish. She told her to bring it home and take care of it. Every day, Tam took the fish behind the well and would feed it. However, her jealous stepmom could not bear to see Tam happy, so while she was away, she took the fish and cooked it. Tam was heartbroken once again, until the goddess of mercy appeared again and told her to put the bones of the fish into jars underneath her bed, which she obeyed. Time passed, and the king announced there would be a large celebration where everyone in the kingdom was invited. To prevent Tam from coming to the celebration, her stepmom mixed 2 big baskets of black and green beans together and told her to sort them out before she was allowed to go. Tam tearfully sorted the beans while Cam and the stepmom were in beautiful gowns. Suddenly, the goddess of mercy appeared again and sorted the beans in no time. Cam went back to the jars and found them full of jewelry and silk. Tam quickly got ready, put on some makeup, and a lovely gown. She was then astonished to find that a horse and carriage had picked her up to take her to the ball. While on the way to the ball, she didn't notice, but she lost her slipper in the river. It was then brought to the king, and he proclaimed that any maiden in the celebration who could slip her foot on perfectly into the slipper will be made his bride. No one succeeded until Tam came along. She fit the shoe perfectly. The king knew he had found his queen, and on that night, the king married Tam, and Tam now lives in a nice palace with her beloved king. Her stepmother, however, became extremely jealous and asked Tam to go climb a tree and fetch some nuts and to offer her father's altar. Tam obeyed her, but as she was on the tree, the stepmother grabbed an axe and chopped down the tree. When the tree fell down, so did Tam, and she died. Tam, longing for her beloved, reincarnated into a beautiful nightingale and dwelt into the king's garden. One day, as the king was wandering his garden, the nightingale sang into the sweetest melody. Reminded of how lovely Tam sings, the king called out to the nightingale. When the nightingale obeyed him, he was so delighted he ordered a golden cage for it. However, Cam grew extremely jealous, took the bird out of the cage, and killed it. She then buried into the woods, and as time had passed, a magnificent tree grew from the very spot where the nightingale was buried. It bore nothing but a single golden fruit of purely sweet scent. A poor old woman walked by one day and admired the fruit so greatly she begged for it to fall and promised not to eat it, but only to adore it. The fruit fell. When the woman came home the next day, she was surprised to find her house neat and tidy. To her amazement, the beautiful Cam came out of the golden fruit and started tidying the house. One day when the king was hunting, he noticed a special smell that led him to the old woman's hut. Tam was so excited when she found the king. Tam came and bowed. Cam, who was completely neglected by the king, saw how Tam was still beautiful as ever and wanted to be like that. She begged Tam to reveal her secret for having such lovely fair skin. Tam told her sister to jump into a basin of boiling water, and Cam obeyed her. Cam suffered and died a horrible death. When her stepmother learned about what happened, she wept until she became blind.
With no one left to wish her harm, Tam and the king lived happily ever after.